There now it's recording. Here we go.
What's good, y'all? Welcome to episode 2 of Three the Hard Way podcast. It's your boy, Trying to Be Liberty. And as usual, I got my cohorts, Malachi and Big Cool joining me. How y'all doing, fellas?
Doing good.
I'm good, man. Ready to talk boxing and whatever else we got on the topic list, man. Let's get to it.
Alright, I think Malachi, I think you might be muted.
Yeah, I am now. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you good. You good. Alright, so we're going to start off with our first topic, man, and we're going to go over this review of this past Saturday's fight. The main event was Vergil Ortiz Jr. versus Erickson Lubin. Um, crazy ass fight that most people weren't necessarily expecting, but I'm gonna get y'all take on it. Starting off with you, Malachi, man, what you think of the outcome of the fight and how everything went down?
I thought it was an excellent fight. I was happy to see Ortiz call out. I don't know if I'm jumping topics. You have to call out Boots. I would like to see that fight. Is he ready for Boots, Ennis? I don't know. I know Boots needs a name on his resume still, and we've been saying that for how many years now. So this would be a good fight for both of them. I would still favor Boots. I thought Ortiz looked very good in this fight, and I do think he's ready.
Follow up on that, Malachi. Did it go as planned, or what were you expecting as far as second round stoppage, man? So I mean, were you expecting it to go a little further, or were you like, okay?
Definitely expecting to go a little further.
Okay, Big Coop, carrying it over to you. What did you think of the fight, man? And as well as the stoppage, I've seen some people saying a whole lot of yin yang as far as the stoppage of the fight. I thought it was correct, but let me get your thoughts on that, bro.
Well, as the fight in its totality, um, like you said when we was talking about it a little bit in the chat, it kind of was a little too early to say if you was impressed or unimpressed because I was on the side of unimpressed with Ortiz, not because I don't think he's a talented fighter or he can't be a champion at 154. It's just feel like he was slow and sluggish, and he had a guy that was willing to just give him exactly what he wanted. Lubin is a talented guy. I'm not saying he's a world beater, but I feel like he's a B level like type fighter. I felt like I was expecting more. He got the power, he got the speed, he has a good jab when he uses it. But he just like you said in the group chat, man, he retreated to those ropes. It was no head movement, it was no lateral movement, it was nothing really to throw Ortiz off, or to make him think. And Ortiz did what he's supposed to do. I mean, when a guy is gonna just give you them body, he treated him like a heavy bag and he stopped him. You know what I'm saying? And for people that saying the stoppage was bad, like, look, man, you can clearly see Lubin was probably happy because I mean, not to say he didn't want to continue, but normally, fighters that feel like the fight shouldn't be stopped, they would show some type of like anger or like, come on, ref. But he was out, he was out, and if the ref would have continued to let him take punches, dude, we could have been having a whole totally different, discussion. I think that Lubin, his punch resistance is gone. I think the war with Fedor a couple years ago really finished him. I think he was still okay from the knockout from Jermell Charlo, but now I don't see where
So
he
you
fits
think
in.
you thinking he's like a gatekeeper at this stage of his career, or a
I mean,
stepping
I don't.
stone,
I
a
mean,
name?
he possibly could be, but a lot of people are speculating or saying have been saying that Ortiz power really haven't really translated to 154. Obviously, that remains to be seen until he steps up against a fresher, fighter that still has the punch resistance. But I mean, the punches look kind of slow from Ortiz. He looked bigger than Lubin, but he kind of didn't look like a solid, like how Lubin kind of. I know they got different body types, but I expected him to be a little more, muscle mass on him, a little more, solid looking, but. Ortiz has definitely grown into his grown man body in terms of the strength or wise and him being able to handle. But he kind of in the rounds we did, so he looked a little slow, telegraphs and punches. But like I said, I ain't gonna jump topics because I'm pretty sure we're gonna talk about him in Boots Ennis later. But like I said, I think Ortiz is a good fighter. But we're gonna see once he continue to step up, against better guys at 154, how his power really translate and how his skills more importantly translate, and will he be able to adapt and adjust to guys that's fresher and higher IQ than Lubin.
So I'm gonna piggyback off you guys, man. One of the things that surprised me, and I wasn't aware of until the fight actually, is that Kevin Cunningham was not in his corner as far as Lubin. Um,
Mm.
Played that. I think that definitely had a huge role in it as far as preparation. But at the same time, we've seen Lubin get into this thing where he likes sitting against the fucking ropes. He did that shit against Ramos, and it pretty much had people thinking it was a controversial fight because he laid on the ropes the whole damn time. He did it against Fondor. He's done it in other fights. Um, you think for a fighter like that's coming forward all the time, like you're gonna be on your feet, utilizing the center of the ring, circling out. First round, Ortiz had him going backwards against the ropes. I mean, literally the first round. That shit's not supposed to happen. So, I mean, I'm kind of lost as far as what the game plan was. Lubin didn't do anything to try and make him feel anything. Ortiz is letting go combos, and Lubin is just letting off single shots. A jab up top, a jab to the body. You know what I'm saying? Like he ain't letting nothing go, which I can understand is supposed to be the fill out rounds, but you got a guy pressing you for round one against the ropes. That shit just didn't look good to me. And I mean, I'm gonna say Lubin is definitely probably a gatekeeper now. I don't see him getting back in championship contention after this. The stoppage wasn't bad at all. He was slumped up with a rough shoulder. So sorry, fellas. He was literally slumped over the rep shoulders, like he was out on his feet, bro. So, I mean, it was definitely nothing wrong with the stoppage.
Yeah.
It was definitely a statement for Ortiz, but I don't know if it necessarily makes him the number one ring, you know, number one rank in the Ring magazine as they have him based on that fight. But moving forward, man, at the end of the match, as far as Lubin and Ortiz, Ortiz called Jaron Boots Innocent to the ring. They had to stare down or whatever. And we had a whole bunch of weird ass conversations since. What did y'all think of the stare off? And what do y'all think about this fight even happening, man? Because the shit I've been reading the last couple days, and even immediately after the fight, I'm just like, man, it's a whole bunch of wolf tickets. But let me get your thoughts on it.
I I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
bro.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Vigil.
you go ahead since you ain't got too much time. Go ahead.
Yeah. I personally I love that stuff. I think it's good for the sport. Um, as for are they selling wolf tickets, is a fight really going to happen? That I can't answer. It's because we see it all the time in the sport too, right? We see guys getting these arguments on Twitter or whatever, and you think there might be a fight, and it never happens. So, um, but I do love the theatrics for the sport. Um, is Ortiz ready? I went into that a little bit. Um, again, like Big Cool said, he hasn't fought anyone. We don't know what he really is at 154. And listening to your guys' comments, there's really not much, I guess, either one of you can base off of this, considering what you think of Lubin at this stage of his career. But Boots hasn't really fought anyone either. Um, I want to see this fight just because it's the young guy against a guy we've been waiting for a long time to fight somebody with a name. And at least Ortiz has a name amongst the boxing community. So I want to see the fight, and I'm hoping they make it.
All right, Big Cool. Let me get a spin from you as far as this, man. We got De La Hoya talking about the A side, B side for some guys that are both interim champions. Neither one of them got a goddamn belt. Um,
Mhm.
what y'all think about the posturing at this stage? And I've seen some other reports that you had the whole thing about he calling out Charlo and Errol Spence. Both guys haven't fought in 2 years, but those are options that his team put out there as far as De La Hoya and even his trainer Robert Garcia. What are your thoughts about that, man?
I mean, it's just par for the course. This is boxing. This is the boxing we know. I mean, I don't want to age y'all, but y'all was around when it was a little more glory. Y'all started watching. Y'all a little older than me, so y'all had the privilege of seeing consistently great fights, or at least very good fights. So that didn't take so much to make happen. But now, I mean, if you gonna call Ennis to the ring, but then you got your handler saying you want to fight Errol Spence and Jamal or Jamel Charlo, it's like that don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? It just it just makes no sense at all. You know what I'm saying? It's just boxing for the part. That's what it is. Like the Shakur Stevens and the Tank Davis and all that. It's like, yeah, it's cool to see y'all face off, but if y'all don't have no intentions on fighting each other, why are we talking about it? Both guys, they both need to fight somebody. So like Ennis, people say what they say about Ennis, he's a talented fighter, but he ain't fought nobody either. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna like just shit on Ortiz, because I mean, Ennis ain't fighting nobody either. He been trying to, fight Crawford at that time when he's at 147. It was like both of these dudes need to say, you know what, either this fight happening or I'm firing whoever, responsible, on my behalf. Because these fighters just start taking back control of their career if they want to. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these fighters sell wolf tickets, like Malachi said earlier, with no intentions on fucking fighting. They give the fans the face offs and the ring and all that shit. It's like, look, either fight or don't fight. You know what I'm saying? But don't hold the sport of boxing and the fans hostage by giving us this false hope, because there's a lot of other great fights to be made if these two dudes don't want to fight each other.
I mean, in my opinion, this is a fight that does not need to marinate any longer. There's been enough wolf tickets since they were both at 147. There's been enough talking. I mean, they're not big name fighters. They're not going to get fucking Errol Spence, Terence Crawford money. Nobody knows them. I mean, both. That's just being real. Outside of
Yeah,
guys that like us that really follow boxing, nobody knows them like that. They don't need to be making demands. I've seen a report from one of Ortiz, like the Ortiz's camp. We're not doing it. If it's under 10 million, we're not doing it. We have other options. Neither one of these guys have made more than 3.5 mil in a fight, and that was Bruce Ennis because it was a purse bid.
and the
So I'm
thing, let
just
me jump here. Go ahead, my bad.
go ahead, Big Cool. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And the thing I was about to say is like, it's like these dudes want this money, but the only way to get the money is to fight somebody. You got to fight each other. Whoever win, either if it's a great fight, you get a rematch that doubles up what y'all made in the previous, in the first fight. These guys seem to fail to realize, like, look, you got to fight somebody to make somebody want to give you a boatload of money. You know what I'm saying? Like that Mayweather shit or that PBC shit that was early on, it's dead. It's dead. Al Heyman, I don't know if he's still in the boxing game, but look, I ain't heard his name in a minute. He ain't just giving out free bags. I know, and it's not with Al Heyman, and I don't think, and Ortiz obviously not with him. But point is, if you want to make money, you got to put yourself out there to take a risky fight, show that you that guy, and then you like Terence Crawford or any other fighter. You know what I'm saying? It's like boxing is not what it once was in its glory days, where people just know you from the Olympics or what I'm saying, whatever. Like y'all got to work extra hard by fighting these guys on top of promoting yourself. And if these dudes ain't gonna fight each other, they not getting no 10 million. Vergil Ortiz, no man, like dude, fight each other and produce a great fight each other again, and the money gonna come. But hey man, somebody gonna get exposed at some point, whether it's Ennis or Ortiz or both. But the fight do need to happen. It don't need another Lopez Gamboa, you know, when they marinated the shit out there to the fight never happened. So I don't know, man. I don't hold my breath for none of these dudes that we have hope to be the guy that moves boxing forward.
I mean, this is going to be my last point before we go to the next topic. They got a person that doesn't have a belt ranked as a number one ring, number one rated by the Ring magazine. You got fucking Xander Zayas over here about to unify quietly on the quiet tip. On the quiet tip. It's just a bad look if they don't do this, and if they're holding out for belts and they're really talking this A side B side shit is really going to be in his favor. So I mean, like Golden Boy, you need to pull the trigger on this now. That's just me being honest. Xander Zayas is unifying, trying to have a unification with the WBO champion Abadaba. I can't think of his fucking name. It's Abba something.
Scooby Doo.
You know what I'm saying? Abagaba.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
yeah,
gonna call him
Scooby
for
Doo. Yeah,
now.
yeah.
You
Scooby
know,
Doo. Yeah,
and I mean, and this is literally his mandatory. So this is an easy shot for him to come out with two belts if he waits that out. And if you're really talking some A side, B side shit, Oscar, it's really going to be in Boot's favor after that because Vergil Ortiz is the mandatory for Ndora.
yeah.
So that's what y'all waiting out for both of them to have belts to build it up. Uh, the posturing that's happening right now is just not good. And 154 is too deep for them to be doing this. You know, so I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't think this is a fight that needs to marinate any longer. We think they're definitely the cream of the crop at 154. I don't think much of Xander Zayas, but you know, that top ranked matchmaking system has put him in a position to be a unified champ and nobody fucking knows about him.
Yeah.
Bachram's been sitting on the sideline for almost 2 years. You know, nobody wants to touch him. So I mean, 154 is in a weird state right now, but
They're
we'll
gonna
touch
have
on
to,
that
man.
later. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll touch on that later. But I mean, as far as Golden Boy, get your shit in order, man. You know, Oscars, that shit wasn't necessary. And then bringing up Spence and Charlo, who haven't fought in 2 years, as options, I just thought that shit was lame. But
Yeah,
I'll go ahead.
I think one last thing. I don't if, by bringing them names up. I don't think he think Ortiz ready for Ennis. But that's all
I
I gotta
definitely
say.
agree. I definitely agree. They're talking their way out of it, and they've been saying that it was Boost that was ducking this whole time. But let's go to our next topic, man. I know y'all don't really want to talk about this much, but it's still something. It's still news. Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul was canceled. It's an exhibition, of course. Um, but you know, there's still a whole lot of speculation and drama behind it. I'll let y'all pick that apart. But Tank was given. He has some a civil suit brought against him. We're not condoning domestic violence on the show, so let me put that out there now. You know, it was a civil suit brought up, but let's just be honest about what the charges are right now. What are your thoughts about the cancellation of it, even though it's an exhibition fight? What do y'all think the politics behind it were? I'll start with you, Malachi.
I'm gonna say that I'm glad it was canceled. Um, I had absolutely no interest in this fight. Um, I thought it was a bad look for boxing. Period. I think Jake Paul. I have mixed feelings on him. I love him as a promoter. What he's done for women's boxing. I had hopes for him at one point, maybe being a decent, taking boxing serious. He's obviously not. Even with the reports of who they've considered bringing in. I mean, honestly, this guy weighed 230 pounds before he fought Mike Tyson. Now he wants to fight a guy who weighs 130 pounds. Like, and you want me to take you in any type of serious? Now, I know both of you feel that that wouldn't have mattered, and Davis would have won the fight anyway if they would have really fought. Because I do know that they said there was going to be a winner announced at the end of the fight, even though it was an exhibition. Um, I, I'm glad it was canceled. And if he picks somebody that's not a cruiserweight or a heavyweight, I just will have lost any form of respect for him as a fighter. Good promoter, good for the sport for women's boxing, but a joke. Will have turned the sport into a joke. And that's all I have to think about that.
Very cool. Let me get your spin on this, man. There's a lot of speculation that it was related to the civil suit that was brought up against Tank, and there's other rumors out there because it wasn't necessarily selling ticket wise. What are your thoughts? Was this a Netflix pool or was this a Jake Paul pool?
I mean, it could have been a combination of both, but I feel like I said, we don't condone domestic violence whatsoever on either end. You know, whoever male or female, we don't condone it whatsoever. But let's be real. You know what I'm saying? If Jake Paul was a real fighter and he really felt in his heart that exhibition or not, if you really felt in your heart that you can beat Tank Davis, you'd have kept this fight. You'd have fought for the fight to stay to continue on. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna punish you for what you did allegedly to to the accuser. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm looking at it like you're not a real fighter, man. Like Malachi said, he done great for women's boxing, I'm glad because women boxing need a light shined on because there's a lot of terrific fighters over there. But you're not a real fighter, man. It's been shown time and time again. Anderson Silva. washed as a freaking MMA fighter, one of the greatest. But no, Mike Tyson washed. Whoever else, the other dude he knocked out for the other MMA fighter, like, dude, you this is a joke. It take a joke for even entertaining this, but I put it at Jake Paul's, feet. You know what I'm saying, in terms of the cancellation, because like I said, if you really wanted to send a statement, even though you were outweighing this guy by like 100 plus pounds, Tank is a real fighter. He's a real skilled boxer. And I think all of us agree, if it was a real fight or if he had intentions to treat this like a real fight, it don't matter how big Jake Paul is. If Tank, wanted to, whoop him, that's what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? But like Jake Paul, he's saying all this, and we know Tank doesn't have the best character and all that, but don't try to spin it. I think it's more like I don't think he really care about the accuser and whatever. I think that he had a genuine fear as he got close to it because Tank, I feel like unpredictable in this circumstance. You know what I'm saying? He could either take the Floyd Mayweather approach and carry Jake Paul, or he can just say, "Fuck it, I'm gonna teach this guy a lesson." So, I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, I was gonna watch just because I was hoping Tank would show up for boxing and just put this dude down and show him that it's really levels to it. But since it's canceled, oh well, we on to the real fights. You know what I'm saying? So just promote, Jake. Just promote and go back to doing YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Stay out of the ring if you ain't gonna fight nobody worth nothing.
I mean, I got a lot of mixed sentiments here, man. On one end, you got the David versus Goliath story, the little man versus the big man, and this is a real fighter. He's actually finally getting in the ring with that's actually been fighting since he was what 8 years old. Tank.
Yeah, yeah,
So we know skill for skill, you know what it would have been. He was in the ring. Jake, was sparring with Shakur Stevenson in Puerto Rico. In preparation. Something must have happened with Shakur to where he got his ass tuned up in that ring that had him thinking second thoughts. Because, I mean,
yeah.
for this fight to go haywire over a civil suit, no criminal charges yet, and you just had a fight with Mike Tyson, who is probably considered one of the biggest womanizers ever. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, he definitely knew. We all knew the charges. He knew who Tank Davis was. I agree with Big Pool. What I mean. Although I'm glad this fight got canceled, I agree with him. What he said that if Jake was so confident, he should have just kept the fight because it's a bunch of BS. All of a sudden, to try to bring up this stuff when we already knew this was happening. So he's a liar on that end. But I got to jump off here. I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a great evening.
All right, too. And another thing before we move to the next topic though, Juan, is that you can be looked at as trying to use the accusers, what I'm saying, like stories just to, what I'm saying. I lost my train of thought, but what I'm saying, you using her as what I'm saying, as a cop out, like a scapegoat
Yeah,
to, what I'm saying, that's disrespectful in its own, what I'm saying, and women that's under him, what I'm saying. I don't know Jake Paul, and I don't know whatever his real feelings or not, but you got to be careful when you place the blame, and because you can be you using her as a scapegoat to not be a man, essentially, in terms of being a boxer. You know what I'm saying? And I think that
yeah.
if you want to fight him, you should have never fought him. You should have never even approached him because you cancel the fight with like what 2 weeks, a week, 2 weeks
Two weeks,
before
two
it's
weeks
supposed
of
to
the
happen.
match, yeah. And I
It's
mean,
like
Jake Paul has had allegations on his own. But that's the
exactly.
that's being
But we
brought
can
up.
we can talk about that off. We can talk about that shit off camera. Why
Yeah.
I think what I think. But yeah, anyway.
But one other thing I want to know, this is what I really heard most about it, is the undercard. Alicia Baumgardner.
Yeah.
Um, you got my boy Gary Antoine Russell. I love him.
Oh yeah, yeah,
That's just my boy at 140.
yeah,
These guys were, these guys had put in preparation and they're losing out on money. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That's what hurts me most is really the undercard. It ain't even the shit with the main event. We know it's
But
going.
but this is a sign. But this is a sign though. Like stop mixing boxing with fucking fake shit, whatever the shit is. Like I feel bad for him, but then again, you know who you getting, you get in the bed with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
keep that shit boxing with boxing, and if an injury happened, we can deal with that. But we all knew he didn't want no smoke with Tank, man. Like, and that's just what it is, man. Like boxers got to take pride of the sport and take back control of the sport. Like, look, man, if you're gonna get in here, I'm not. It ain't no exhibition. It's either a licensed fight or we're not even doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
I think a lot of this had to do with Netflix too. I think the Netflix
yeah,
might have had a lot as far as pulling this.
yeah, because he was begging, please, please, please.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just like, you put up all that money for the shit that was going on already, and then to pull it 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah, you
Netflix
got to
kind
move from Atlanta to
of,
Miami. Just you know what I'm saying? It's like what the hell?
yeah,
Or you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
yeah. I think Netflix had a lot of hand in that as far as it going. I just think they didn't want to be associated with Tank's brand after this, even though it's a civil suit. But let's move
Has
on to
Tank
our
spoke on
next.
it?
Nah, but there's still been no criminal charges filed. That's the thing, and this is 2 weeks later. So I
And
mean,
he ain't spoke on it. That's crazy.
yeah, I mean, only his team. I think Calvin and I can't think of his name. Coach Kenny. They may have spoke on it, and they said it's all BS as far as what's being
Yeah.
put out there. But that's another thing. We'll let the courts do what they do. Let's move
Yep.
on to our next topic, man. In our next topic, of course, we got the Brian Norman versus Devin. We got the Norman fight going against Devin Haney coming up next weekend. But
Mhm.
also Richard Hitchison, who is the 148, 140 pound, I think IBF champion, if I'm not mistaken. He's calling out for the winner of that fight. I got my thoughts on it, but I want to get yours first as far as him calling out the winner of Brian Norman versus Devin Haney, who are division ahead of him. And 140 is what it is as far as the situation. They got unifications available. Let me get your thoughts as far as him calling out the 147 winner between those two, but he ain't really calling out nobody at 140 other than Teofimo. But let me
He
get your
just
thoughts on that.
he a great value boots, man. Crawford, but Haney is his Crawford as to what because he been trying to get a fight with Haney for the longest. Even when Haney was at 140, I'm pretty sure when he was at 135, you get on Twitter or X, you see Richard Hitchens calling out, Devin Haney. He want Devin Haney bad. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, you got unfinished business at 140. What is with these guys that like they don't complete the process? You know what I'm saying? Like you don't when you decide to become a boxer, you want to unify. You want to win your first title, then you want to unify. You don't want to win a title and then skip. Like, dude, 140 is. I mean, I'm not saying he the head and shoulders above everybody at 140, but I mean it ain't as deep as it once was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you got what Lopez there, and you got Shakur who could come up, but these guys are not there, or Shakur not there. So it's like, dude, why don't you try to unify your division and then focus on Devin Haney and Brian Norman and whoever else may be at 147? But I mean, I don't see him beating either one. You know, maybe Norman because like he said, he's unproven. We know he can punch, but we gonna see how good his total package is next weekend when these two dudes, step in the ring. But I think Devin would beat him. But like I said, it's not a fight I desire. I mean, you need to see Devin against somebody that's gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause I like Devin. I think he's a very good fighter, minus the chin, but. Richard Hitchison versus him, that would not be a good fight. I mean, obviously we love boxing, so we boxing period, so we would love it, but you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody dropping $80 to watch them two fight, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like in order to make that fight appealing and attractive, I think Hitchens need to take care of business while he at his current weight class, and then it'll get the attention of Devin Haney and the boxing fan, casual and hardcore, to say, hey, you need to fight this dude. This dude to make noise, beat Teofimo Lopez and all the other champions at 140. Hey, y'all got some backstory, some history from the amateurs. Like, go make it happen. But until then, like, dude, they treat you like a little mosquito. You just buzzing in the ear. Nobody paying you no attention.
I love Africa Hitchens. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
think he's a very talented fighter. Like, skill wise, I'm not gonna put him up there with Shakur, but I'm like, as far as skill for skill, he's probably a purist.
Yeah.
He's definitely a purist, but I have problems with the verbiage I'm hearing from him in a lot of interviews. But like I said, I'm a huge fan of his, but he calls out. I think he's turning into. The same problem I have with Haney skipping out on 140, and I don't know Devin Haney's reason for pretty much passing up the division. You know, other than winning this fight against Regis Prograis and skipping up to Ryan Garcia at 143 and now 147, I don't necessarily know the reason. He may have outgrown the weight. He may have physically, but you know, he didn't want. I don't think he wanted the real smoke at 140. There's some gunners there, man. You know, you got, like I said, Gary Antron Russell. You got Sabril Matias. You got I can't think of the guy that beat him. That Sabril Matias beat, even though it's controversial. Like there's some real smoke there. Like I said, Africa Hitchins is there. I don't think Devin want to smoke at 140 because those guys, I mean, especially Gary Antron Russell and Sabril, like those guys are some killers. Like you're gonna take some. I mean, those are
Yeah,
dudes that take off your career. You fight those guys. The way they fight, they're punishing guys. They're real physically strong at 140 compared to what Devin was trying to build himself up to. But as far as Africa, I'm just like I'm starting to get the same notions that I'm getting from TLP. They're turning into prize fighters essentially. They don't want the smoke from people that can really give it to them. And that's the thing. That's the thing that hurts me because I mean he's never mentioned Gary Antron Russell's name not once, and they got smoke going back to the fucking Olympics. Gary Antron Russell beat him in the Olympics. You don't want to clear that up as a pro. If you got a chance to for a title unification, I
yeah.
mean,
I
there's
mean,
it just don't seem right to me, man. So I hate this whole notion of him calling out the 147 when they're like you said when they got him finished business at 140. I don't like
it's
that
like
notion.
it's like if we the peers or the fan know a dog when we see it, you got to know these fighters know, especially if you didn't been in the ring or been around that aura or you just shared it in amateur or a sparring. You like they know everybody know themselves when it all said and done, they know their limitations. You know what I'm saying? And there's a reason, like you said, Devin skipped 140. There's a reason why he felt like he can beat Brian Norman. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it was a weight issue. Maybe he could take the punches better at 147. You know what I'm saying? But he can run, but he can't hide. You know, them guys gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? Shakur might not if they offer him Shakur a jump to 147 for Devin, and I'm pretty sure Lopez would if the deal's right. But Hitchens, man, like you said, just take you can box. You're not the greatest puncher, but you can box. You tall, you athletic, you rangy. Like, dude, just go get that smoke with Gary, whichever Antoine Russell, whichever Russell middle name it is, because he a dog. He is a dog, you know what I'm saying? And like he can box and punch. Severe Matias, I mean, ain't he the one that killed old buddy?
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, shit, come on.
there's some dogs at 140. I mean, even Sandor Martin would make a fight.
He a slick boxer. Yeah, he's a slick boxer.
Yeah, he had I thought he beat Tiafimo. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
so
So
it's like
there's
it's
some,
dogs in different forms. You know what I'm saying? You got punchers, boxers, you got boxers who just box slickster. So, like I said, until these young guys they got all the potential to turn boxing back into the heyday or close to it fight, we just still gonna be kind of picking straws. Like, oh, we got a great fight here. Oh, we got a great fight there. But these, I mean, I mean, this new era is kind of. It's hard to say
yeah.
they soft you boxing, but you know what I mean. Like they just
Yeah,
don't want it no
there's
more.
guys that want smokes and there's guys that are just prize fighters right now. I
And the
mean,
prize fighters are the ones that holding up are kind of
yeah,
like not to say they're more talented, but they more, popular. So they get excused for that, so it leaves the motherfuckers that really can make that, pull that greatness out of them outside looking in. But yeah, it is what it is.
all right, so let's go to our next topic, man. This is going to be an interesting one. Of course, we got the 168 undisputed champion. Shit, undisputed in three fucking divisions. Terence Crawford eyeing a move down to 160 to fight the winner of Janibek and Lara in their unification. Let me get your opinion, man. Does this do anything extra for Terence Crawford's legacy? Is this something that he needs to go after, or I mean, like, what would you like to see him do at this stage? Is this a fight
Do
that
what
you?
you want to do. Hey, he the
Is
first
this
three
a
divisions.
fight you're interested in?
Hey,
And
anytime I can watch blood fight, I'm interested. Do it. I mean, further cement your legacy. Be the first fighter. You are the first fighter, or at least the first male. No, I'm sorry, Clarissa. I don't want to offend you. the first male fighter, the three division undisputed champion. Well, go ahead and pass Miss Clarissa Shields and make it a thing where it's just I'm the first boxer, male or female, to become a, what I'm saying, a four division undisputed champion. Why not? If you can still do it and do it at a high level, go whoop some ass, go do it. Because you didn't put your money where your mouth is. You didn't spank Errol Spence, you spanked Canelo, you spanked Julius Ndongo, you spanked Ricky Burns, you spanked Sean Porter, you spanked all these guys. Continue to do it until you tired of doing it. You know what I'm saying? And if the opportunity presents itself, because like I said, he had to come up with a struggle. You know what I'm saying? So be greedy, be Pac-Man, gobble all that shit up, whoop all the asses. You know what I'm saying? If Jamel Charlo wants some, whoop his ass too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just do it. Just do it. I mean, if you could, wouldn't you do it? If you could do it, just do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
who gonna stop him? Nobody. He's smoking Lara or whoever wins this fight. He's smoking either one of them. So do it.
yeah. And that's the thing for me, man. I'm just like I don't gain anything from seeing him beat the winner of those fights. Um,
Yeah.
Janibek, I guess he's considered the top dog at 160. And below him would be Carlos Adams. But I mean, that's not a real strong division right now. So it does nothing for me personally to see him go down there and beat Janibek, who I don't necessarily think the world of. Um,
Yeah.
there is one interesting fight I would be interested in seeing, though, with him being undisputed at 160 at the moment. And I
And
mean,
who?
this is all really political because you got Turkey that's financing those fights right now. But Turkey got a fellow Muslim under his wing named Shiraz, the one that knocked out Edgar Berlanga. That's probably a big money fight. I think Turkey would want to see that fight just because that's his guy. Um, and they probably give a lot of money every something like that.
Who you say this fighter was?
Hamra Shiraz, the one that knocked out Edgar Berlanga in the last fight.
Man,
Shiraz.
come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come
Yeah, I mean, he looked terrible against fucking Adams. Adams won that fight, but I don't know if it was because of him draining down to get down to 160 because he's a big ass dude. But
He
I mean,
ain't fucking with Terence Crawford unless Crawford go
yeah,
grow old
but I
overnight.
mean, like he ain't throwing one punch like Canelo either. So I'm just like, I have interest just for that just for the political aspect with
I
he
mean,
him
if
Turkey's boy and shit like that, and this go Terrence can get a payday out of it and ready to be
man, look, he gonna make turkey sandwiches out of this dude.
I mean,
Thanksgiving coming,
he could get more money out of this fight than he had.
but Terrence has already made the money. Now he just wanna make history now. I mean, shit. How about he fight the winner of Laura and Janibek, and then he fight the other boy the same night? It don't matter. He gonna win.
Gotcha.
Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, unless he fight David Benavidez, I don't know.
Yeah, none of them fucking with him. I mean, but I just like Shiraz is just interesting for a lot of different angles. You know,
I
um,
want Terence Crawford to just get all the money he can because they did my dog wrong, and I ain't biased or nothing, but they tried to freeze my man out. I want him to do what Floyd did, Canelo did, Manny did. Look, milk the boxing game for what you can get out of him because once you ain't got it no more, you ain't got it no more. So fuck whoever you got to fight, turkey sandwiches.
yeah, and I
And,
mean he only fighting once a year at this point anyway. So
yeah,
shit, he might be, like you say, he might really be able to make. But
yeah,
let's
man.
go on to our next topic, bro. We got the upcoming fight this weekend, a rematch of Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. Uh, the first one was a thrilling ass fight, action, a lot of action. What are your thoughts on this one? As far as is it the same turnout, or do you expect something different? I mean, you got to think about Eubank shrunk down to 160 against his father's wishes in the first fight. He's doing it again this time. He took
I mean,
a lot of wear for Terra in the first one. So let me get your thoughts as far as what's going to happen in this
it had thrilling moments, but I feel like Eubank was the clear winner. I don't know, man. I wouldn't. I mean, that's why you got payers. You got to listen to him, especially a guy that did the same profession you're doing. He inspired you to become a boxer. Like at your 33, 34, whatever age you is, why would you want to do that twice? You got away with it once. You know what I'm saying? You got away with it once. Why would you do that again? You won, so you should make Conor Benn, sorry ass, come up and wait. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I'm a watch, but I don't really have too many expectations. I feel like if Chris Eubank Jr. can replicate and tighten up a little bit, because you know what I'm saying, he did get hit, but as the fight went on, but that's expected because you know once the fatigue kick in, your reflexes kind of start to, you know, be inconsistent. You know what I'm saying? Because the wear and tear of a fight, plus you thinking and you trying to move and you know react and all that shit. But I mean, if Conor Benn doesn't win this fight, just stick a fork in him. You know what I'm saying? He's through. He's through because I don't see where he can go from here. If you can't beat Chris Eubank Jr., not to say Eubank Jr. trash, but he's not an elite fighter. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why, you know what I'm saying, he's never become a champion. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you can't beat Chris Eubank Jr. at a disadvantage for the second consecutive time, second consecutive fight, there's no need for you to even fucking try to look at nobody else. You know what I'm saying? But I think it'll be another good fight. It might be more action packed from the onset. I think that I think Ben gonna try to come out and make a statement. I think he gonna throw out the warming up process in the first round. I think he gonna try to get Eubank Jr. cold, and I can see him stopping him. You know what I'm saying? Catch him with the right hand, left hook, something that he don't see coming. And it's all she wrote. But I expect it to be another solid fight. I'm gonna lean towards Eubank Jr. just because I feel like he'll be more comfortable, even though it's crazy that he's doing this again. I think he really, what I'm saying, kind of has the skills to offset being, and plus he has the height and reach advantage. So I'm gonna roll with him for another decision.
Um, Man, I've been trying to go back and forth about this one, and just based on the first one, and like I said, Chris Eubank Senior wasn't happy about his son coming down and draining himself for 160, and it was a pretty physically grueling fight.
Yep.
To do that shit again, I mean, like you said, why would you do it again? I don't. I mean, I know you got Bo Mack in your corner or whatnot, but I don't know. Like, I just feel something weird about this one, man. Don't do that shit again. And Chris Eubank Jr. is what I think 34, 35.
Yep.
Like that's a grueling ass. The first one was grueling. The shredding, the weight. Um, what was it they were saying as far as how he got down in weight, as far as using the sauna, like he was investigated for that shit.
Yeah, he was doing a lot. He took drastic measures.
And I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like something to go through that the first time, to go through all of that just to get to the first one, and to do that again. I mean, I think he had to go sweat. I mean, I think he went blood, sweat, and guts, everything for that last one. And to pull it twice with a guy that ain't got to cut weight necessarily, that pretty much likes to fight in those type of grueling style fights. He didn't hurt him necessarily. I don't know. I mean, probably, anybody tells me to go with Eubank Jr. again, but like just something feels weird as far as like everything that happened with the first fight, especially that the whole investigation with how he lost the weight. Um, I think he actually ended up in the hospital after the fight. Um, yeah, I think it took something. It might have took something out of him that might get Conor edge in this one. But I'm gonna agree with you and go with Conor Benn. I mean, go
No,
with
no, no.
Chris.
I'm taking Eubank Jr.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Eubank Jr. again on this one. But
Yeah,
it just something feels like I wouldn't be shocked if Conor Benn won this one. I guess that's why I'm gonna go with it.
yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if he won, but I just feel like for you to be crazy to do it a second time is something you had to see. You know what I'm saying? It's something you had to see. Or maybe if maybe he want to die. I don't know. If he went to the hospital, maybe he want to look. Maybe he want to go out of the bank. I don't know. But he looked good early in the fight. He banked enough rounds early in the fight. You know what I'm saying? And Conor Benn is not a good fighter. Like, let's
Yeah,
be real. He's not a good fighter, man. He's not.
yeah.
And that shit, he's not.
The typical European brawler. Typical European brawler.
Like, you're not Nigel. And Nigel wasn't the greatest, but I mean, come on,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Come on,
He's
stop,
not his
man.
dad. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
you
you
on that.
you just light skinned. Come on.
Let's go on to the next topic, man. I'm not sure if you're ready for this one. I wish Malachi was here for this because he watches college football a lot more than both of us. But I'm gonna go through the actual rankings of college football, the college player football rankings at the moment, and it was based on the top 12. Number one, you got Ohio State. Number two, you got
Rightfully.
Indiana. Number two, Indiana. I have questions about that one.
Oh, I
Number
know.
three, number three, Texas A&M.
Okay.
Number four, Roll Tide.
But,
Number five, we got the Bulldogs from Georgia. Number six, Ole Miss. Number seven, BYU. Number eight, Texas Tech. Number nine, Oregon. Number 10, Notre Dame. Number 11, Texas. And number 12, of course, Malachi Squad, Oklahoma Sooners.
you said number
I
12 who? Oklahoma?
Yeah, I think this shit is flawed as hell.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, just based on strength of schedule, I think they've gotten. I mean, they don't have a. They're not in the conference. That's the shit I hate about them because they get an easy bye pretty much without having to play in the conference championship. All these other schools have to go through conference championships. That shit is not fair. Notre Dame lost twice this year. Of course, I can understand the Texas A&M lost, and we lost by 1 point. But then they also lost to a Miami team that's ranked number 18 right now.
It was a close loss. It was okay, but
Yeah, but I mean, head to head, I mean, they got the
trash.
same record essentially. They're
They
both just,
trash.
yeah, they're trash. ACC is a weak conference, but they head to head they lost. So
Yeah.
I don't know. They got me luck as far as USC being a top 25, a top 20 team, which is like number
Yeah.
19 right now. And I think they got another game. I forgot who they're playing this week, but it's a ranked team in the late 20s as far as AP rankings. So I mean, they're getting held up by luck, but I don't think they deserve to be where they are. Indiana, they had a close call this week. I would have them at number 2, but I wouldn't exclude them out of my top 5. I might have them at number 6 at the latest.
They ranked out ahead of Alabama. There you go.
Yeah, it's not because of that though. They're undefeated, so I understand that. But the Big Ten is kind of a weak conference this year. I don't think the strength of schedule is playing enough factor into the rankings this year. Because
I mean, they
honestly,
did go on the road to beat Oregon, though. They did go on the road and beat Oregon.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, Big Ten is kind of suspect this year. But we'll see once these playoffs come in. If it's really real. Um, to me, I'm always going to be a guy where you got to give credence to the SEC teams, which is why I'm not necessarily mad about Oklahoma and Texas being in the top 12. Even though I think
Fuck
Texas is
Texas.
trash. Yeah, I think Texas is trash, but they've had so many fucking close calls against bum teams.
Yeah.
But of course, they got the win against Oklahoma in the rivalry. But I mean, if you're using that for Texas, why not use it for these other schools? Like I said, like Miami got the head against Notre Dame, and they got the same fucking record. So,
Or Georgia Tech. I know they had a bad loss against NC State. They got blown out. But I mean, come on, man. That's the only one loss. But I know when you compare it against the SEC, it's hard. You can't really. You can have a loss, but not a bad loss like that. But if they go on and run the table and win the ACC, division regular season in, the championship game, what we gonna talk about then? You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
like like a Notre
Texas,
Dame,
Texas Tech and BYU might be the only question.
the BYU,
They're undefeated though. So I'm just like,
yeah.
as far
I mean, you got to give credence to that. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, they undefeated. We expanded. We made it 12
we've
teams.
seen this before though. I forgot who it was last year. They got their ass kicked because they had a good record.
SMU against Penn
Yeah.
State.
Yes, I mean, like we don't need to see that kind of shit again, man. And that's my biggest issue with that. I don't want to see a repeat of that. I know they expanded to 12 teams or whatnot, but yeah, I don't need to see that kind of mugging. Just based on an 8-0 record. Like I don't want to see that shit personally.
No, because I remember TCU and Georgia national championship game. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Let's go on to our next topic, man. So I mean, college football is a guy. I mean, the disparity is just kind of going to college football now. Um, like you see, Texas A&M has made their revival this within the last couple seasons, based on the NIL deals. They got a whole lot of oil money out there at Texas A&M, Notre Dame. They got some money. They brought themselves back in prominence. What do you think of the current situation in college football and NIL? It's not just the money, but as far as what we're seeing, as far as the transfers and all that stuff, eligibility, the transfer schools, and stuff like that. Well, let me get your thoughts on that.
I mean, I think it's essentially exposing these players for not being competitive. I mean, I'm all for players getting paid, so don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? But you got to at least stick it out at least like a year or two. You know what I'm saying? Like when you don't get your way, these guys, okay, I got the money, boom, or they perform 1 year and they want to re up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously, as the time goes by, they're gonna continue to tweak it and make adjustments as they see fit. But it exposes a lot on both ends. You know what I'm saying? Like you willing to overpay for a player that you really don't know. You see what you see on tape at high school, or you see what he do in the gym or his 40 time. But once you leave high school to go to college, you become a man. You know what I'm saying? These dudes are just as hungry as you. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you got the NIL, the big NIL deal, but these dudes, you ain't as hungry now. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like they're gonna have to have some balance, and it's gonna have to be probably a cap at some point. You know what I'm saying? To where what players can be paid, because it's essentially gonna ruin these programs. You know what I'm saying? Like you pay this guy a whole bunch of money, and then if they don't play well, or they get benched or something, or they get benched due to an injury, they transfer. It's just a lot that's really kind of still new to college football. But I'm all for the players getting paid. I mean, if you can be marketed and you're a top tier athlete and player coming out of high school, you getting that initial bag, go for it. But just know that you have to conduct yourself as a professional. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be, quit when it going get tough. You know what I'm saying? And that after 1 good year don't necessarily mean you need to talk about something. Let's go back and renegotiate. Two, then we got something. You know what I'm saying? But like with the whole Nico case in Tennessee, his dad really messed him up out of
Yeah,
that. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like,
That I'm glad you brought that up. That was one of the situations that I don't like. You know what I'm saying? It takes the I know it's not with the old and in with the new, but it kind of takes out the amateurism of the sport, which made NCAA so fucking beautiful at the time. Now it's like pretty much they're pros without being pros. Um,
yeah.
I'm
And
not
they're not
big.
conducting themselves like such. You know what I'm saying? Because they still have their parents in their ears. Like you could, it's like semi-pro almost. Like you want to
Yeah,
be a pro, but then you don't want to make the decision like a pro. Like I'm pretty sure NFL players, early in their first contract, they can start with their parents. But like at the end of the day, you're a grown man. If you demanding this amount of money, you need to conduct yourself as a professional and deal with what comes with it, the losing seasons, the change of coach. You know what I'm saying? Like you got your father in your ear or your mother in your ear saying, hey, well, like telling you want this. Like, look, you're not the athlete. You know what I'm saying? I got to go and perform. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I might have the money, but if I'm not what these people thought I was, or what I thought I was, or what you thought I was, I gotta live with that. You know what I'm saying?
and I
So
mean we've seen those situations where these NIL deals are being rescinded from players. It's translating to the other college sports to where you look at Auburn, basketball. You got Auburn and St. John's having players that are fucking 24, 25-year-olds still playing college. Like
yeah,
it is been fucking ugly. I hope it doesn't get
yeah,
to the point where there's a government oversight. I mean, I would hate for it to have to come to that, but it is ugly already to me. Like I'm not
yeah,
a fan.
yeah. I
Texas
mean,
A&M ain't been shit in years, and they got that oil money to where they could just boost it out, and you see what their program is right now as far as football.
but
So
I mean, yeah, that is true, but you had to expect it though. That's the thing though. Like it definitely need to be some, like I said, a cap on it. But you had to know states like Texas, Florida, California. You know what I'm saying? Georgia was
Yeah,
gonna get gonna have
even the
earlier,
programs with
or
big boosters,
university.
and the programs with big boosters, even anything like that with
Yeah.
big boosters.
And rich history, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's just it's hard because there's so many talented players, and only 11 can play on offense and defense, and then special team. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of these players that can lead a schools and be star for all kind of other Division One schools. You know what I'm saying? But it's who you gonna pay for the most money. You know what I'm saying? But when you a free agent, it's like you looking at opportunity, playing time, guaranteed money, location for family. You know what I'm saying? So now you really are a pro coming out of high school. So you
How
gotta
much?
it's on the player.
I think it's taking
Go
away the
ahead.
competitive edge as far as people actually preparing for the pros. Like, I mean,
I do too. I do too.
you're a pro now as opposed to like actually going to the league, and I'm just like, man, it's a weird situation. It's a weird.
Yeah, it is, and a lot of it has affected the quality of the game. But I mean, like I said, it's gonna get adjusted. You know, like I said, anything new, it has to go through its ups and downs. And at some point, they're gonna find a balance that's gonna be acceptable for for the masses until another issue arises in 5, 10 years, or whatever it may be. But ultimately, it's up to the players to still keep that hunger and that drive, and to show that hey, I'm gonna earn this money. I'm gonna show you why y'all pay me this amount of money. And that the
Yeah,
main thing is to, become if you want to
actual
graduate
pro,
college.
actual pro, yeah, actual pro as
Yeah,
well.
but while you're in college, still get your education and try to, it's a life outside of the field or the court. You know what I'm saying? So try to
Gotcha.
just take advantage. You know what I'm saying?
All right. We down to our last couple of topics. We're gonna go into some NBA stuff. Um, we got our NBA power rankings for the first 11 games of the season. Um, we got the defending champs, Oklahoma City Thunder, at a 10-1 record. Denver Nuggets at 7-2. The San Antonio Spurs surprisingly at 8-2. Knicks 6-3. The Lakers out there doing their thing without LeBron, which is going to be another topic coming up afterwards. Cleveland Cavaliers, the Pistons surprisingly in the top 10. Houston Rockets, the Bucks, and the Miami Heat rounding it out at number 10. Any surprises for you in that top 10, or what do you think of it currently? I mean, this is still early in the season. Ain't nobody in shape and playing defense yet, so this shit is going to change drastically come mid-season, I think. But what are your initial thoughts as far as the power rankings as they stand right now?
I'm surprised at my Miami Heat. When we lost Jimmy Butler, and then we did pick up Norman Powell. We got
That's my
Wiggins, still
boy,
got Bam.
Stormin' Norman, Stormin' Norman.
Yeah, yeah, I love Norman Powell. Bam out with a toe injury right now, but I mean, I'm surprised. Not that I didn't think it was gonna be a
Hero's
good
not
team.
playing either, right? Hero's been out this season too, right?
Tyler had knee surgery, like maybe a month before the season. He should be
And
back
y'all
probably.
still doing it, man. Shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we doing that's the surprise, you know what I'm saying? Because we beat Cleveland last night 140, 130, and 138 in overtime. So like we start showing that fight. So that's the surprise, and maybe the Bucks because obviously Dame Lillard tore his Achilles, but you bring in Miles Turner from the Pacers who just made it to the finals. You got Giannis debating on if he want to really stay or do he want to request a trade. I don't think they're the strongest right now, and I don't know if they have that staying power. Just like the Heat, we got to see how Tyler comes back and how he fits, and with what we got going with Norman Powell and Wiggins and the rookie from Illinois, and how Bam comes back from the toe injury. So it's still early, like you said. So I expect a lot of ups and downs, but I'm not surprised in Detroit. They added Duncan Robinson, who used to play for the Heat, a sharpshooter. Cade Cunningham continues to get better. They still got Tobias Harris, who a veteran with a lot of experience and a very good player. And they got Jaden Ivey that's gonna come back. Denver, I ain't surprised too much. You got the Joker and you got Jamal Murray. Who else you say was on the list? Lakers. The Lakers are the
Without
Lakers. You know what I'm saying?
without LeBron being there, it's a surprise. But boy, been stepping up and Austin Reeves. He been doing his
Yeah,
damn thing. We gonna touch on that in a second, so we ain't gonna go
yeah,
too deep into that. Um,
yeah.
I mean, honestly, my biggest surprise. I mean, I hope that he can keep it together once Hero comes back. I think Hero and Norman Powell together it might be a clash that we could see coming as far as
Uh,
playing styles. I mean, but the way they're playing now, I think that's probably my biggest surprise. The Bucks as well is one of them because, like you said, without Willard, um, Detroit's definitely a surprise for me. But you
Mm,
just broke that down. That's as far as who they got and who they picked up in all season. They got a very strong coach in Bernie Bickerstaff Jr. Very, shit, might be coach of the year. I think he was
yeah,
last year, if I'm not mistaken. But they come back into prominence.
yeah.
As far as the rest, I'm not surprised by other than San Antonio Spurs. I
Could
don't
be.
think I don't think that's going to sustain, man, for some reason. Um,
I don't know.
I don't.
I think they.
I mean, Wimby is inconsistent as hell still. I mean, offensively,
Yeah, I mean,
he
this is what
has
third year.
defensively, he's always going to be there.
Yeah,
Offensively, he's too up and down for me. Castle's still up and down for me. Um, I like Dylan Harper. I think they're going to
yeah.
get better. With, what's the boy? I
Fox
can't think.
back.
Who came from Sacramento? I can't think of his fucking
Fox,
name.
De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron
Okay,
Fox is
yeah. So
back.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, like, I think they could stay strong with him. So they might actually be cool because they got people playing out of position right now with him being out, or him being out previously. But they might be able to sustain. But I still think Wimpy is too inconsistent. And when you're fucking 7'5", we've seen
Yeah,
how that story plays out too much as far as these guys injury wise, and we saw with them the last two seasons. So I mean, I'm worried about that as far as sustainability with that. I mean, he's fucking great offensively and probably considered an alien. We thought fucking Kevin Durant was an alien. This guy is another level with his skill at that height. But
yeah. He just got to get a little stronger, and I
yeah,
think I would like to see him
that
commit to the paint a little more. I like to see him
definitely.
compete. Yeah,
That that shit ain't gonna be sustainable at that height, man. But he's doing it,
I
so I
mean,
give him
yeah,
his props.
he might. I mean, like you said, yeah. I mean, that's a that his style is. It might make him a little more sustainable because I mean, he ain't gonna be taking that beating like Shaq did, or yeah, I mean, or any the guy that live in the paint. But I
And I
like to see
mean,
him.
the
You
way
know,
defense is played now, I mean, had it been fucking probably 2000 or something like that, I mean, like, motherfuckers would be able to check his ass. But I
yeah,
mean, the way the game is now, it's so fucking hands off. He go through the lane, anybody go through the lane, there's nobody there. I mean, that's just what the league
yeah,
is now.
yeah, yeah. It's soft now. Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, let's go on to our next topic. We talked about the Lakers, who are fucking killing that at the number 5 power ranking right now. They're 8-3. LeBron's been out all year, and shit, I think I even heard he's playing in the G League earlier, which I need to double verify. Um, man, uh, the way Austin Reeves is playing, the way Luka's playing right now, they're winning. Do you see LeBron James being away for this whole season? And how does he come back into their team, into their fold? The way, Luka and Austin Reeves is vibing right now. The rest of the players fucking DeAndre Ayton is playing better than he's always been, up and down. He's playing consistent right now.
yeah,
Hachimura's playing great.
yeah.
How do you feel
Um,
about LeBron coming back into the fold? And you see him
it
being like all year?
it depends on LeBron James. It depends on if his ego can take two white boys dominating. And you know what I'm saying? Like LeBron got to realize he's 41, 42, whatever he is. He be 42 or something in December, whatever the fuck it is. It's his ego, man. Like if you got Luca, you got Austin Reeves, you got Aiden. This is what you want. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't feel no type of way. You know what I'm saying? If they can carry the load with Hachimura, you know what I'm saying? If they can do that for you, and then you just bring it home for them, then that's perfect, right? You would think.
So
You know what I'm saying? But
I see some speculation and some a couple of analysts putting it out there that LeBron needs to come off the bench. You know what I'm
I mean,
saying? To
maybe. I
me,
mean, but
it sounds right to me. I mean, the way that they're clicking right now, you don't want to fuck that up.
look,
Yeah,
man. He said
he's
look,
got confidence.
he like it's only one LeBron coming off the bench, and it ain't me. It's LeBron James Jr. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the only one that's gonna come off the bench if anything. Like you know what I'm saying? But like I said, LeBron, like he a diva. You know what I'm saying? All great players are. He got an ego. and he can feel like he the best player in the world. You know what I'm saying? But at some point, you got to realize what's best for the team. You got to put ego to the side. If you can still play starters minutes off the bench, why not? You 41, dude. You've been doing this. Like we talk about Tank Davis fighting since 8. You've been playing ball since about the same age. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, your time is winding down. So if you did want to play a little longer to actually see your son develop into a good player, coming off the bench playing, 25, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, that's not a bad look. You know what I'm saying?
To
But
me, that would be the ultimate. To me, that would be the ultimate solution, and it would show LeBron being mature beyond
but
shit.
but
Yeah,
that's
I
not
would love to see it. I mean, you come like you said, you come off the bench, you can still get your even if it's not your 27-7-7, you can get your 19 your 19-6-7 or something like that, and your son's playing with you on the Jay, you could tell JJ Redick to put your son into that second lineup.
yeah. Yeah, or just like or just fuck Bronny James. You know what I'm saying right now? He ain't he ain't no. But like,
Yeah,
dude, just focus on what you got, like, and see if it works. I mean,
if
like, at
he
some
want to
point,
win, if winning is the if winning is the real thing, I think that would prove LeBron James is the ultimate team player. But like you said, he just
exactly,
got to
because
win
like I
those
said,
fights.
at some point, LeBron James gonna fall off the cliff. You know what I'm saying? It just happened. Father Time is undefeated. He just gonna fall off the cliff. And when he do, that bench gonna be waiting for him anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so you can either do it by choice or by Father Time forcing you. You know what I'm saying? So I think LeBron probably gonna be done after next year.
All right, man. So I mean, it's been a great show, man. And I mean, that was a great way to wrap it up. Appreciate y'all for
Yes,
joining us
sir.
for episode 2 of our new podcast, The Hard Way. I'll come back next week. More time schedule. We be good. Much appreciated, everybody. We out till next week.
Sir, peace.